A tectonic plate is shifting, not just beneath our feet, but within the very foundations of global power. Beneath the surface of global politics, a quiet but profound transformation is underway, sending tremors through the corridors of power in Brussels and beyond. For decades, Western alliances like the EU and NATO have defined Europe's direction, shaping its security, economy, and even its sense of identity. But today, on November 1, 2025, that certainty is fracturing. The old assumptions are being challenged, and the future feels more unpredictable than ever. The news that Turkey and Hungary are openly exploring BRICS membership is more than a diplomatic curiosity. It's a signal that the old order is dissolving, and new alliances are being forged in real time. The gravitational pull of the West is weakening, and countries are diversifying their allegiances, seeking new partners and opportunities beyond traditional boundaries. Turkey, after decades in the EU's waiting room, is declaring its strategic autonomy by pivoting toward BRICS. This move is not just about economics or politics, it's about reclaiming agency on the world stage. Hungary, a rebellious EU member, is extending its battle for sovereignty by seeking alternatives. Its leaders are signaling that they will not be bound by the old rules and are willing to chart a new course. This isn't just about diplomacy or trade, it's about national identity, the right to choose one's own destiny, and the search for a place in a rapidly changing world. The move by these nations is a symptom of a larger trend, the erosion of Western dominance and the rise of a multipolar world, where influence is shared and power is more diffuse. The implications are vast, not just for Brussels, but for economies, governments, and ordinary citizens worldwide. Every shift in allegiance ripples outward, affecting trade, security, and the way people see themselves. The old map of the world is being redrawn, its borders and alliances reimagined for a new era. We are witnessing the first bold strokes of a new era, one where the future of Europe, and perhaps the world, is being rewritten before our eyes. To understand this European pivot, we first need to look beyond the familiar Western alliances and examine a different kind of global partnership that's been quietly gaining momentum. That partnership is BRICS, a group whose name you've probably heard, but whose significance is often underestimated. The term BRICS was originally coined in 2001 by a Goldman Sachs economist, referring to Brazil, Russia, India, and China as emerging markets with huge growth potential. At first, it was just an investment label, a catchy acronym for investors to watch. But by 2009, these countries saw an opportunity to turn this label into something more. They began meeting as a political bloc, and soon after, South Africa joined, making it BRICS with an S. BRICS was born from a shared frustration, a desire to reform a global order dominated by Western powers and institutions like the IMF and World Bank, which often set the rules for everyone else. Unlike NATO or the EU, BRICS isn't a military alliance or a tightly integrated union. Instead, it's a flexible coalition focused on economic cooperation, development, and challenging the dominance of Western-led institutions. The new development bank and the contingent reserve arrangement are two of its most concrete achievements, designed to offer alternatives to the Western financial system and provide support to member countries in times of crisis. These institutions aim to fund infrastructure and development projects and to help stabilize economies without the political strings often attached by Western lenders. What makes BRICS unique is its diversity, spanning continents, cultures, and political systems. It includes democracies, authoritarian states, and everything in between, making consensus a challenge, but also a strength. Members don't always agree on every issue, but they share a common goal: to create a world where power, influence, and opportunity are more evenly distributed, not just concentrated in the hands of a few Western nations. Despite internal tensions and differences, the group has not only endured, but expanded, inviting new members and increasing its global relevance. Today, BRICS serves as a platform for major non-Western powers to amplify their voices, coordinate strategies, and push for reforms in the global system. As more countries express interest in joining, BRICS' growing appeal is reshaping the global landscape, challenging old assumptions about who gets to set the rules in the 21st century. BRICS has exploded from a club of 5 to a sprawling global coalition. Recent expansions brought in Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the UAE, and Indonesia, with Saudi Arabia likely next. The bloc now represents 45% of the world's population and over 35% of global GDP, surpassing the G7. With new members, BRICS controls more than 30% of global oil production. Around 24 other countries are eager to join, from Africa to Latin America and Asia. For many, BRICS is now the primary forum for shaping a new global consensus. The group's rapid growth is fundamentally changing the balance of power. BRICS is no longer just an alternative, it's a force to be reckoned with. Turkey and Hungary's interest in BRICS brings the challenge to Europe's doorstep. Turkey, frustrated by stalled EU accession, is pursuing a multi-vector foreign policy, balancing East and West. For Erdogan, BRICS offers strategic autonomy and new economic opportunities, free from Western conditions. Hungary, under Orban, has long clashed with Brussels and cultivated ties with Russia and China. Expressing interest in BRICS is a natural extension of Hungary's Eastern opening policy. Both nations see BRICS as a way to attract investment, secure resources, and assert independence. The allure is a mix of economic pragmatism and political frustration. They're betting the future lies in flexible alliances, not rigid blocs. The EU and BRICS are fundamentally different, representing two distinct visions for international cooperation and global influence. The EU is a deeply integrated union, built on decades of treaties, shared laws, and common values. Membership requires countries to cede significant sovereignty, follow strict rules, and commit to collective decision-making. This integration aims to ensure peace, stability, and prosperity, but it also means less flexibility for individual nations. In contrast, BRICS is a loose, flexible coalition. It brings together emerging economies that prioritize economic cooperation and mutual benefit over political alignment or shared ideology. BRICS members retain their independence and focus on pragmatic partnerships, making it attractive to countries seeking alternatives to Western-led institutions. For countries like Turkey and Hungary, BRICS offers a partnership model without the EU's demanding requirements. It allows them to pursue their own interests, build new alliances, and access new markets, all while avoiding the political strings attached to EU membership. If Turkey were to join BRICS, it would likely mark the end of its long-standing EU ambitions. Such a move would signal a dramatic pivot toward the global south, reshaping Turkey's foreign policy and economic priorities, and redefining its place in the world. For Hungary, trying to balance EU membership with closer BRICS alignment would create unprecedented legal and political tensions. The country would face conflicting obligations, as the EU's legal framework often clashes with BRICS's more flexible, interest-based approach. Such a move would challenge the very identity and solidarity of the EU, raising questions about unity, loyalty, and the future direction of the European project. Hungary could be forced to make a difficult choice between upholding its EU obligations and pursuing new opportunities with BRICS, a decision that could have far-reaching consequences for its economy and political standing. The prospect highlights the fundamental clash between the EU's model of deep integration and BRICS' flexible, interest-driven cooperation. It's a test of which vision will prove more attractive in a changing world. The choices these nations make in the coming years will not only reshape their own futures, but could also redefine the balance of power between these two major blocs. The stakes for Europe's future, and for the global order, have never been higher. European interest in BRICS is a shockwave for Brussels. It forces the EU to confront its waning influence and rethink its approach. The EU's model, once the ultimate destination, is losing its universal appeal. Leaders must ask, why are neighbors looking elsewhere? How can the EU stay relevant? The rise of BRICS accelerates the shift to a multipolar world, with new risks and opportunities. For developing nations, BRICS offers alternatives to Western finance and a greater say in global affairs. The inclusion of European nations legitimizes BRICS as a truly global platform. The balance of power isn't just shifting, it has already shifted. The world order is being rewritten before our eyes. We are at a pivotal moment in history. Turkey and Hungary's BRICS ambitions mark the start of a new chapter for Europe and the world. The unipolar era is over. A multipolar, competitive world has arrived. BRICS Plus is now a magnet for nations seeking new partnerships and influence. Its flexibility and focus on development offer a compelling alternative to Western institutions. For Europe, This is a challenge and a call for adaptation. The EU must become more agile and pragmatic to remain relevant. The decisions made now will shape the global landscape for decades. Whether this leads to cooperation or rivalry remains to be seen. One thing is clear: the era of BRICS has truly begun.